Hey everyone, my name's Eric Hill, and today I will be talking about social media and its effects on mental health. So, social media has been something that's been around since the mid 2000s, and over time it's gained a massive network where people can meet and contact each other from all over the world. Researchers have been doing studies based on how it can affect a person negatively when they use these apps like Facebook and Instagram and other things. Things like cyberbullying, news media that can cause attention to wars and different depressing stuff that happens all over the world, and things like comparing yourselves to other people are all things that researchers have been looking at. So first, social media and its use can cause anxiety, depression, and other negative signs to happen to a person. Prolonged use of apps like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter can cause things like anxiety and depression due to the comparison that happens when a person may not feel good about themselves and they often look outward to see what others are doing. Oftentimes, it can affect a young adult who is looking to find their place in this world, and oftentimes they're looking to compare themselves to other people because they feel like they're not where they should be in life, and oftentimes they'll chase someone else's dreams. It can cause them to lose focus on their own life, like school, a job, and spending time with family because they're too caught up on what's happening with other people. Additionally, it can cause fear and division among people. In the news recently, Russia has announced that any weapons that the U.S. supplies Ukraine and is being used in Russian territory will cause a response by Russia. Pages on social media can report and twist the words to fit their narrative on however they think it should be. Another thing, like the presidential election coming up, is a huge topic on people's mental health. Oftentimes, people will pick a side, one side that they feel is right, and if anybody else disagrees with them, they're completely wrong. If a person disagrees with someone else, it usually leads to an argument about why someone else should be wrong and why their candidate is better. They can get called a label, which something called labeling theory is a real theory that has happened, and over time, a label can cause a person to feel as if they are that label. It can have an impact on someone's life, hugely. It becomes draining to see fear and division in everyday life because social media can push an algorithm that can lean in one way over time. Furthermore, it is often too easy to get caught up in doom scrolling. Doom scrolling can be described as when a person actively seeks out saddening or negative material to read or scroll through on social media or news outlets. And that comes from Miller on the social media and its effects on mental health. The reason people do this is to try and form an opinion on bad things that are happening in the world. It can get really toxic really quickly. They get caught up in the loop because they want to find answers to the questions that are plaguing them, and they will often keep scrolling till they find it. Eventually, they start to get addicted to searching out these answers and this negative news because it's all they see on their timeline. It can cause anxiety, stress, and uncertainty about the future. When people think about social media, they often think good stuff about it, but it can really affect a person's mental health. And I know it's affected mine because stuff has happened to me with social media. And sometimes, it's good to take a break from it. And so social media does have the ability to change the way a person thinks. It can make a person worse. For example, the Buffalo shooter who shot up the top supermarket, he live streamed it on Twitch, and people were able to watch that and form their opinions on it. And you could very clearly see in the video that he had markings on his guns that were racial, and he shot that supermarket up because he felt a certain way, and social media could have shaped it that way. It's really easy to get it caught up on what other people are doing, and you can start to lose focus on the things going on in your life or events happening in the world. Mental health is a strong topic that is always being researched, and more things are being found. And so when something as big as social media comes, it can really affect the way research is done with it. More and more, we've seen negative things come out about how it can treat a person. Growing up, social media has been around me all my life. I've seen people get addicted to it. I've gotten addicted to it. And it can really cause you to lose focus on the things that are important in life. For example, spending time with family. Screen time has always been a big thing on social media. And so it's a good thing to limit it when you can. And sometimes just get off it, just maybe for the weekend, like I did this past weekend. I've seen how it affects a person. It's affected me in my life, and it's hurtful, you know. So yes, that's been my speech on how social media impacts mental health and how it can really damage a person to their core. Thank you.